So, anybody that's new to our podcast, we're just going to kind of quickly go over a few things for this week, and Respawn's going to go through a few news roundups. But I thought if anybody's coming in new to the Destiny for Christmas, then we've kind of gone through and had a look at some of the builds and guides, and even some of the YouTubers that we follow to kind of get the information and any kind of Destiny pages. And we've compiled it all for you this week. So we're going to kind of go through that and give you a rundown. As there's not much else kind of in the news to talk about.
Not this week, no.
No.
Yeah. Have you guys, speaking of Destiny, you probably have it in the notes already, but I'm just going to bring it up. Have you seen the whole Titan bubble?
Telesto.
Yes.
Yes. It's in the notes.
Okay. Just checking, because that was crazy when I saw that. It's like, yeah, you can just bait people in there. Or if you got a Titan in a bubble fighting some people off, you on the outside, you can shoot into the bubble and just, I'm like, what?
Okay.
What? Why is this
podcast canceled? We're going to play Iron Banner.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. A show where we discuss tips, tricks and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more. What makes us different? Well, we're not streamers or YouTubers, we just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news, information and opinions. We encourage your questions and feedback, and you can contact us either by email, twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com, or on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. Now, on with the show. So we've been talking for a good half an hour now, and we haven't actually talked anything Destiny.
What up? It's my destiny to eat pie and pass out. Woo woo!
Because there isn't any. Bungie can't. This week at Bungie, nothing happened. That's it. The end.
Yes.
Pack it up. Go home.
But we're still here.
Iron Banner's canceled. Everyone go home. We're done.
Don't lie to the people. We've been through this.
By the time
it'll basically be over by the time this comes out. So
no, I've been really good at getting these out really early.
You have been. I've been terrible this week about putting out the video that came out.
I saw that.
Yes, yesterday maybe.
Yesterday.
Right. Oh, okay. Happy New Year's. Respawn's news roundup. I have a news roundup now. It's got a new title.
You do. It's amazing.
I has a thing. I has another thing besides the rant. I guess this is what I have between rants. If I don't have a rant, I have to do a news roundup as punishment, as penance, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
All right. So who's up first? Because it looks like next week in Destiny, that's not me.
Well, next week in Destiny, we're having Mayhem and Countdown return, so that's a thing. The Dawning, still the Dawning, and Mars will still be the Flashpoint. I say still be because Mars is always really the Flashpoint in your hearts.
It's not the Flashpoint this week.
Next week, we moved on to next week.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying it'll always be in your hearts. I didn't say it was this week. I have no idea what the Flashpoint is this week because who cares about the Flashpoint this week? Who cares about Flashpoints? Flashpoints are over.
Flashpoints are overrated.
We're done with Flashpoints.
I will agree.
So shall we start the show properly and introduce Two Titans and a Hunter?
Yes. No? I'm a hunter.
You're a hunter.
I almost said I'm a Titan. Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Close. We're that close to converting you. Your hunter is no one respawns in real life. One of your Titans is Parody, and your other is moi, Night Demon.
Houndish.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? It's Houndish.
What's up, guys? Houndish here.
See, he purposely doesn't
like it.
You're doing it wrong on purpose.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
It's like I could do voices wrong on purpose to make people think that it's not me, but I don't try to.
One of these days, I'm actually going to reach out to him and have him waiting in the wings to come in, and it's going to be incredible.
Oh, it's going to be great. So good. And since none of us actually look to see who joins in, it's going to be completely oblivious until it happens. But like, oh my God, it's Houndish! I'm such a big fan.
What's up, guys?
Well, why don't you do that to me now, then, if you think I'm Houndish?
Because I can't tell you to your face. I have to tell your alter ego. That guy's cool. You're
already here. You can't drop it on you. It just wouldn't be right.
Right? I mean, more often than not, it's the alter ego that's funnier than the main person. So
Anyway, welcome to our post-Christmas show.
post-Christmas.
We've just spent the last 40 minutes discussing what we did at Christmas, which will not be in the podcast because it's boring as. Anyway,
Yes. Pies were ruined, gifts were given, people were driven, sometimes out of their minds. You know, the normal holidays. I imagine your all's was exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who this year got what they
Back
wanted?
to talk Destiny.
Who didn't get what they wanted? Who got more Destiny? Whose parents don't know their gaming habits and got them yet another Destiny game because they didn't realize they already play it?
Everyone should have all the Destiny. Who got Google Stadias for Christmas? From the parent that sort of loves you but doesn't love you quite enough.
That loves you but's out of touch. Wow.
So we've done next week, haven't we? You guys have just done next week in Destiny.
Well, we did, unless you'd like to, do a deep dive into, the meaning of the flashpoint behind Mars, and the cookies are still there to be baked. I don't care.
No.
the dawning this year, I'm really just like, I want to care about it, but I'm having a hard time caring about it.
I need to care about it because I really do want to get that new Sparrow up to date, because I've gotten the new Sparrow and I've done literally 0 of the objectives to make the Sparrow even worth it. So
yeah, I haven't done that, but more importantly, I did buy my Polar Bear Sparrow. It was available for Bright Dust this week.
Nice.
I've bought the Polar Bear Sparrow, so everything is good now. I don't care what else is there. I have the Polar Bear Sparrow.
Did you buy the bread emote?
Not yet. I don't quite have enough Bright Dust for it, so that's why I need to grind out some more Iron Banner and stuff. I need a couple hundred more Bright Dust, so I'm gonna try to get that done before reset.
Really?
Oh yeah.
On top of this, bro.
I'm grinding through Bright Dust pretty quickly with between the Dawning bounties, the Crucible bounties, any bounty, the Gunsmith stuff, anything I can pick up that gives me Bright Dust. I'm just trying to roll through those as quickly as possible.
Well, there you go. I'm thinking perhaps I should do that instead of complaining about it, but I mean, then that wouldn't be me.
Then who would you be as a person?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying right when you said it. If I didn't complain, then nobody would love me. Wait.
Right. Then why are you here? You have one job.
To complain. Actually, the little bit that I did play, I've been hearing the YouTubers talk about it, but I didn't find it that big a deal. Because at the time I hadn't been running into it, but that damn Arbalesque, oh my god, dude, pick a different damn weapon. Seriously, it's just everywhere, doing everything all the time. Just you hear that wind up around a corner, you hear it behind a building, you hear it in your sleep. That stupid wind up of the stupid Arbalesque.
I got somebody really good that was playing Arbalest this week, and I did the build where you put the fusion rifle scavenger, the linear fusion rifle scavenger on your boots, I believe it is.
Sure.
And then I had I spec'd out for fusion rifles. I had Telesto on. I had a Crooked Fang on as my heavy, and I killed a guy, picked up special, and got one heavy. And then turned around and there was a guy trying to charge me with the Arbalest on, and I zapped him in the head quicker than he could get his shot off. I was laughing so much.
Nice.
Because at that point, 2 minutes or about a minute into the match, you shouldn't really have heavy, but I did.
Yet here we are, and there he goes.
That's the lead from gold perk, right? You get heavy and special?
No. This is just with the 2 scavengers on. You can, if you've got boots, I believe it is, that you can put linear fusion rifle scavenger on and normal fusion rifle scavenger on, and every time you pick up a special brick, it will give you 1 heavy. We went over this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we probably did. What I'm not arguing. We probably did. I believe you, good sir. But yeah, no, the only thing that I've been dealing with, or that I've been using to kind of counteract them, because I'm not getting killed by a lot of them just because I'm aware of their existence, but I still hear the charge up all the time, and it's like it gets in your head, It's like the fear of getting shot by one is forever prevalent, and I don't know. if anybody else feels that, but I feel it like on a spiritual level. Anyway, no, I've been counteracting with a scout rifle and that new grenade launcher that shoots the wave of fire. If
Yeah.
you don't have it, get it, because that thing does work. So just
Martyr's Retribution.
yeah, no, is it Martyr? Yeah, Martyr's Retribution. So that thing just, oh yeah, you've got an arbalest. Guess what? I'm jumping in the air. You're gonna get low health, and I'm gonna finish you off before I even land on the ground. And
Get it from the Mars obelisk, I believe.
Yes, Anna Bray's house. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. It's worth it. Get it. It's good. It's great.
As a reminder, some Bungie rewards will be ending soon, and this is the Relic Sword, which is the replica from completing the Pit of Heresy dungeon, and the Bad Juju mini replica from obtaining the Bad Juju in the game. So those will be going away soon.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Buy them while you can.
Get them.
And continue to stare at the beautiful Saint 14 thing and go, do I need to spend $90 on it?
It's
Sure.
not gone yet.
Speaking of which,
It's not gone yet.
when are we supposed to get that exotic quest for Saint 14? Somebody said it was in January. Confirm?
Right. If you scroll down in the
I'm not
notes,
scrolling down. Nope, not going to do it.
well then don't ask silly questions.
You
Wait
can't
until we
shoot
get
me.
there. Wait until we get there.
There's a seasonal calendar that they released the week that you and I talked.
Yeah.
And
We
had all those dates on it.
We talk every week, and we go over the dates every week.
Right, but it was specifically the week that he and I were alone.
Yeah.
That I had a huge picture that Nearest put together that's much prettier than Bungie's because it actually showed you better when things happen, and it's on there.
It is. And when the way you said that, the whole for the new people joining in, I completely forgot that we do have new people joining in. We've never actually addressed new people coming in, have we? And if we have, it's been a long time.
Every now and then, we do a kind of this is who we are. But I thought because it's Christmas and a lot more games will be given out, and a lot more people might actually upgrade from New Light to actually playing the game and buying Shadowkeep and getting into Season of Dawn. I thought I'd kind of go away and have a look at what guides are out there for.
And this is why you're British, Dad. Look at that, thinking ahead, using your brain. Man, I wish I could do that.
Well, otherwise it would just be like I was going to say 30 minutes of us just talking rubbish about the game,
so
and then getting to some tips and tricks. But more realistically, it would have been 2 hours worth of just us shooting the breeze,
talking rubbish, and eventually getting the tips and tricks about the game. Yeah. It all works out.
So you're telling me I shouldn't have prepared to go down the list of every known bug in Destiny as it stands and when it started in the entire history of the bug life of Destiny?
We would not.
Is that what you prepared for today? I know you've been threatening to prepare it for some point.
No, I sure haven't. Unfortunately, I thought about it about an hour ago. I was like, "Oh, thing going on. This would have been the perfect time to pull this out and just start reading through, and just to see how far I could go before you both just started screaming at me."
No reason.
I would guess about a page.
I did like the fact that yesterday you sent me the message. There's no TWAB this week. I'm like, yeah, no, there's no TWAB this week. I can still come up with 9 pages of notes.
Oh, I know. I was very impressed, and then I saw that it was mostly pictures and links. I was like, yeah, there's nothing.
Well, no, you have to put in pictures for Respawn. He likes the pictures.
Hey,
that is true.
I am both offended and
delighted.
Appreciative of that. Yeah.
But I checked the Destiny roundups. They're on holiday, so I've had to kind of go through a lot of YouTube videos and on the Reddits and the Twitters and things. So, Respawn, would you like to take us through your news roundup?
Respawn's news roundup. There really should be an R there. Can we replace news with a synonym that begins with R? Like Respawn's recap roundup, Respawn's something. I can't think of anything at the top of my head. That doesn't make any sense either. Shut up. Stop making fun of me.
You think this is a good point of, talking? Do we need to discuss this point on the podcast now? Could you not have come up with something later and we can change it
forget later. We all know that I'll forget later. Anyway, moving on. Damage.
So what you're saying is what you're saying is
he's already forgotten it now.
No, you're saying leave it in the podcast so that you can listen to this.
So in like 6 weeks,
and remind yourself
when he listens to the podcast, he'll remember, be like, oh, I was going to do this thing, and then be like, well, it's been so long now, I might as well just not even bother. It's the perfect system.
Look, you guys are making fun of me for perfectly good reasons, and I get that. but it doesn't stop the crying anymore. Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, Damage 04 to set expectations. The next hotfix for Destiny 2 is currently scheduled for January. We will be tracking and investigating issues through the holiday and providing workarounds when possible. Stay tuned to @BungieHelp for updates. @BungieHelp has sent us a reminder. Banshee 44's weekly local calibration bounty is disabled as we investigate an issue that allowed this bounty to be completed daily. Of course they would disable this. See, you're a bunch of scumbags. Anything that's good that we can benefit from, they immediately disable. Things that make our lives worse, they leave alone. Scumbags. Anyway, in the meantime, players who inspect this bounty will receive the message you have already completed this. Twitter.com, Bungie help / whatever. Shut up, bunch of. The team has identified the issue. Well, just dolphin me or something. The team has identified the issue and is currently developing a fix. As we are, because that's how we say things, entering the holidays, we're expecting this to be addressed in January. While we have provided workarounds, understand that this is a frustrating issue in the game. I've had to reload an instance 5 to 8 times to get around the issue. Ended up fully upgrading the obelisk as quickly as possible to avoid hitting the bug, which I'd recommend you do as well. Thanks, DMG04. I'll get right on that. After fully upgrading, more important functions, acquiring bounties, linking the obelisk to the sundial, can be done from the tower. Damage 04 also said, y'all seeing the feedback on Iron Banner? That's how he wrote it. That's how I said it. Indeed, we are playing it too. The quest will be around for the season, and we have multiple events to complete it. Can't promise any changes mid-season, but can promise that eyes will be on the feedback in a new year. Can't fix it? We're looking at it. That's all we're going to do. Keep playing my game. That's broken. Leave me alone.
So y'all just quit your wand in the Mona. We gave you a one-shot throwing knife. Just throw that throwing knife and kill that dang Titan over there. Just kill him real good. Then you'll get your quest done. On to rocket launches. Back to you, Respawn.
He throws me off every time he does that. We're passing all of the Iron Banner feedback to the devs, especially about the rocket launcher step not being fun and causing friction in matches. Feel free to add anything else you want me to pass along about the Iron Banner here as something. Thanks. PvP and sandbox balance, also from Damage 04. Always watching and always talking about it internally. Glad to see enjoyment of the changes made in Season of Dawn. Glad to continue to hear feedback for other topics. Y'all are engaged, and it's awesome. Again, he wrote it like that. That's how I said it. Thank you. Moving on. How about XP?
Windows XP?
I'm so glad they see everything. When are they going to fix some of it?
We do apologize for the Respawn rant.
It's not a rant. It's just like,
do we though?
Every one of these says, hey, we see it. We see it. We see it. We see it. I don't care if you see it. Fix it.
Respawn, take it down a level. You're going to scare the new people away.
And the baby. You're going to wake the baby.
You're going to wake the baby.
That's why I can scream now. It's fine. It's okay.
No, shh. Take it down. Don't scare away the new lighters.
You're going to wake someone else's baby.
That's fair. Okay, so how about XP? Seeing that too. We've got 2+ months left in the season for you to max out your season pass and complete the seasonal content, but we'll indeed pass along the feedback on bounties, activities, and more. I'm so glad you're useless. Some interesting images from the game files have been found by Jinsor, that guy, adding more speculation that the Crucible game mode trials might be returning soon.
So do you want to explain to new people that may be new lighters coming in what Trials is?
Trials of Osiris was a very exclusive. Would exclusive be the thing? It was a type of PvP for the people that are real sweaty tryhards, the people that you don't want in your games. That's where they go to fight each other. But Trials used to have these really cool weapons and armor associated with that event, right? So one of the best auto rifles that were in the game for quite a long time actually came from Trials, and one of the pulse rifles that are still pretty good also came from Trials. So it's a separate PvP activity quote unquote elite, and you got cool weapons and armor that you couldn't get from any other PvP, and it was, in my opinion, better than you could get in a lot of the other PvP stuff. So it
You
was
didn't have to be
always
elite to go in there. You could just go in there and play and have
you
fun.
could, but
Yeah, you could go in and get stomped, as we did many
Yeah.
times, except
Yeah.
for laser tag weekend when we stomped back.
well, I don't think anybody did stomping in laser tag weekend. I think it was just a cluster.
Everyone got stomped by everyone else. It was equal opportunity stomping.
Yeah, it's like not momentum. Yeah, momentum. It was like momentum back then, and that's why I loved it. Everybody had the same everything. It was great.
Yeah, and that's now how we can tell newer folks. Okay, so laser tag weekend, there was a bug in the Prometheus lens where it did just absurd amounts of more damage. Basically, you look at the gun and it killed you.
Mhm.
Well, they made it available for, it was for open that weekend, and trials was a weekend only activity. And it was like, okay, are they either going to pull the gun out of the game, which they couldn't do at that point, or cancel trials or whatever, which was a big thing, a huge thing that drove streamer traffic and everything else. So instead, they made Xur sell it that Friday so everybody could have one.
Yep.
And everything just became laser tag absurdity. And if you go hunt down some YouTube videos, I know we've put some in here before from it. It was just it was mayhem mixed with momentum. Where everyone's zapping everyone.
Weekend, but if I'm being honest, every time I looked at it, it reminded me of Star Wars, right? Because you know how they all had the blaster, the red shooter blaster things. That's what it looked like. Because it would never stay on; it would just go pew, and that would be it, and the person would be dead. So that to save ammo, they would just kind of tap it or whatever, move on to the next guy, tap it, etc., etc. So you just saw these red beams everywhere. It was like Star Wars nightmare, or dream, depending on your point of view, depending on what side of the gun you're on, I guess. Right?
You are opening up a big can of worms now. You've mentioned Xur. What is Xur parody?
Oh, Xur, he's a nice little tentacly faced man who comes around every weekend, and he brings you exotics. He will bring one weapon every week, and then one class item, one armor piece for each of our classes. It's somewhat random most of the time. He'll show up somewhere in the world. Really just go to findxur.com and they will tell you where he is every Friday when he shows up, or stumble around the game. He doesn't show up on the planets on the map anywhere. You sort of have to know what planet where he shows up, but he shows up at the same place on each planet whenever he visits there.
Yeah,
and he will also sell you faded engrams.
There you go. Yeah.
So he'll also sell a faded engram. So if there's exotic pieces you're missing because you're new to the game, or there's that one exotic you continue to hunt, that faded engram will be something you are missing. So if you're missing a hunter piece, go visit her on your hunter. He will give you something you don't have for the hunter yet. Ditto for warlock and for titan. And if you've unlocked everything, now he won't give you the raid exotics, things like that. But exotics you can get just dropping in the game that are not quest based. They're just in the exotic loot pool. He'll drop you that stuff. Or if you have everything on a character, he will just give you some exotic. Could be a weapon, could be a piece of armor. And yeah, he comes in on Friday at reset and he leaves on Monday at reset. And he shows up every weekend. Like clockwork. And sometimes he's broken, sometimes he's not. Sometimes he sells the same things for an hour and then changes it. You never really know with Xur. He's a shifty guy. Have we covered all the things? Any questions? Audience?
Oh my God, my mic is off. Son of a... Whatever.
So before we get too far from trials, I just want to mention, so Destiny have brought back elimination into the game. So if you sort of want to get an idea of what trials was, you can play the elimination mode. It's basically the same thing. It was 3v3. It was a weekend only activity. And the whole thing was, it was a best of 5, but you had no respawns, which is why we can't have respawn play it. There were no respawns in it. Once you were dead, you're dead. And then, basically the first team to 5 to win 5 rounds would then advance. And then if you won, was it 7 in a row or was it 9 in a row?
It's 10 in a row. 7, 8, 4.
Yeah, so
numbers.
Yeah, so basically you would go visit Brother Vance. He would give you a card. There were also later a couple of boons and things you could buy to forgive your first loss, or have a win count as a second win. So basically, if you were able to win, we'll say 7 sets of 5 matches in a row, you will get to go visit the lighthouse, which was this mythical thing that most people never saw because it was very hard to get there because you need to have a good team of 3 Crucible players and continue to win, strings of matches in a row to be able to get there. trials carries were a huge thing where, a team of 2 would carry a third guy along to get to his, to the lighthouse. Because again, like Respawn said, a lot of your best gear came from that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of like if raids were even less accessible, because at least a raid you can eventually get through by banging your head against the wall. The trials was skill based. You couldn't really just go in and sort of luck your way into those 7 wins in a row. You had to go in with, you had to go down with a squad that would actually get you there. So the armor and the weapon stuff was hard to come by. So it was sort of pinnacle activities that were very few and far between.
These teams that were just so bored with trials that they would come into a match, immediately leave to give you the win. Whoever you are, whoever you were, you're my hero.
Yeah, I know there were a couple streamers that would start doing that. Go, especially if they see, because I think you could see like where the other team was on the card or look it up on Trials Report, something like that. And they would say, if you're super close to it, they come in and just throw the match for you to give you the last win you needed, to give you that little boost.
Yeah.
And it was a huge streamer thing because Trials carries was practically everything anyone talked about. Anyone who was halfway decent at PvP would stream those all weekend long, every weekend for ever. And it was a huge, and I know it's a huge thing of why Destiny got as big as it did with D1, because every weekend you would just see the numbers just get ragged. Everyone's sitting in their streamers, streams saying, because they do raffles, they do give, everyone was trying to get their trials carry. Everyone was hanging out going, oh, maybe it'll be me. Because a lot of them was just, like random number generator or put your name in the hat. We'll draw a name out and see what happens. That's how I ended up getting my one trials carry to the lighthouse, was watching a stream at 6 a.m. that was, fairly sparse, only about 50 people in it. And, 1 in 50 chance is better than a 1 in, 500 chance.
That's true. Yeah, no, my brother carried me. My younger brother was one of those sweaty try-hard guys. And I was like, yo, nice. Ryan, carry me in trials or I'm going to beat you up. So he carried me in trials and I got a card. Yay.
Okay, yeah. So it was 5 wins. So basically, again, you went to Brother Vance, you picked up a card. If you got 5 wins in a row, you would get your trials passage, which will give you an armor piece. 7 wins would give you a weapon. And then on your 9th wins with no losses would give you access to the lighthouse, and you get to open a chest and it would rain down top tier, lovely pinnacle gear for you.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. All right.
I was going to say, in Destiny 2, they changed it to Trials of the 9, and then it was a 4-player activity, so 4v4.
Which everybody hated.
Which didn't go down well with the community. There was a lot of hate because of the 4v4, and it was taken away. And it hasn't been seen since.
The reason I believe, and I'm right, so this is, take it as it is. At the same time that Destiny 2 started, and then you had the Trials of Osiris, the big thing at the time was scout rifles. Scout rifles, and especially the minor multi-tool, were the weapon to have, right? So if you played Trials and you peeked a corner, you would get team shot immediately. You would just flat out die because those 4 people each shooting 1 round would kill you. So that was one of the real big reasons for the complaint about the 4-man teams and whatnot, is just because you didn't even have time to go back around the corner. You peek, you're dead. Period. Game over. That's it. You lose.
Well, that's sort of how the sniper rifles were in D1, though. I think it was more about the 4v4. It kind of ruined it for, you couldn't, as a streamer, grab a buddy and say, hey, we're going to carry, we're going to play 8 straight hours of trials, so we just need a third person to carry along. With 4v4, it was a lot harder because then you're half the team trying to drug the other half of your team to success. And it just, I don't know if Crucible was 4v4 when Destiny 2 came out, and it was just not, it was too big for some maps, too small for other maps, and just wasn't the right feel for this game. And I think Trials suffered a lot because of that too.
So that was Trials. Maybe coming back. May not be coming back.
Probably is coming back. Most likely.
Most likely.
Saint 14 wants it to come back.
Saint 14. It will be Trials of the 14 now. Ooh.
Exactly. I get 14 wins in a row. So headbutt things to death. Let's see what you guys do. I got a scout rifle. No, it doesn't matter. You got a headbutt.
That's right. You can't get to the lighthouse if you don't headbutt all of the things. That's just how it is.
So Respawn, the next page has your answer to your question.
Great. So we're skipping that.
Real-time follow-up. There's a pretty red engram on these leaked photos too. There's a new picture. There's a pretty red engram, and
How much you want to bet that's just going to be our new Eververse engram? Because they keep changing how the Eververse engrams look, or whatever you want to call them. The engrams you get, you get really nothing good out of it. That crap. So
if you're a new light player, you might get some good stuff out of it.
yeah, there's a big loophole you're trying to work your way through. Then
Actually, saying that, I
You're
got an
right.
exotic from year 1, Destiny 2. The 6-shooter where you shoot the glass bottles off the exotic one. I'd never got it in the whole of the first year, and I was really upset about it. It actually dropped this week for me from one of those engrams. I was so pleased.
Nice.
I got something this week too, like the coin flippers or one of those where there was a super old one. I was like, oh, they must be putting these back in the thing now.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
I mean, I kind of wish it were something else, but nice to round out that emote collection. Oh, speaking of which, can we hide some of those emotes? I don't need 3 pages of them. There's only about 8 I ever want to use. Can we just hide the rest of them so I have to flip through them every single time? Trying to remember which stupidly named dance is the one I'm looking for. Anyway.
So I still have all the I still have the clan dance. I still have the all the emotes that most of us have. But one of my favorite ones is the void hunter knife. As he cleans it, you know what I'm talking about? He puts it in the crock of his arm and he cleans the blood off the knife.
The blade,
Yeah, that I found
samurai sword.
Kind of nice whenever you kill somebody in a really stupid way, you just do that over his body and move on. Yeah. I've got some hate mail from that. That's fun.
I really enjoy the baking cookies one because it's so elaborate and ridiculous. You mix the cookies, you put them in the oven, you dance up and down waiting for them to cook, and then you take them above your head like, I have made cookies.
It's a very Frozen emote. I'll give you that.
It is. It's really. I was doing the sundial the other day. I was like, you want some cookies? Here you go, guys. Have some cookies.
The tilting one in the same right though. I was playing something. I can't remember. Competitive. I was playing competitive, trying to get my kills for the Not Forgotten, and some dude popped me with a fusion rifle. Like he 180'd me and popped me with a fusion rifle, and threw that tombstone on top of my head. And I was like, "You son of a!"
But I have been. I didn't get the tombstone, unfortunately, but I have been tombstoned many times, and it is. Like, I can't even get mad about it. It's just the perfect emote when someone stomps you in Crucible.
Yeah, but that's why I get mad at it. It is perfect. And it's just, I want to hate it. And I have no right to hate it. But it's just so damn good. And it's like,
it's really good.
I have no rebuts. What am I going to do? Anyway, but yeah, so that happened to me. And that was less than enjoyable. But, good on you for catching me off like that. Prick. Moving on, January 7th, 2020, we'll be getting our new exotic sidearm quest for the Devil's Run. Devil's Run is an exotic sidearm. It's supposed to be really cool. It's a sidearm that also is a fusion rifle. Let's get it. Bastion.
It's a sidearm that's also a fusion rifle. What are you talking about?
It's also called the Devil's Ruin. There's an I in there.
Yeah, sorry. Devil's Ruin. It is also a fusion rifle. You can charge it up, and it's a fusion rifle charge. You didn't know that? Bro, do you use Destiny?
Where does it say that?
It's the exotic perk, man.
It has a variable trigger. Press and release to fire individual shots. Hold to charge up a high-powered staggering laser.
Oh my God! What is that? That's a fusion laser. Holy shiza!
Fully charging laser refills the magazine from reserves.
Mm-hmm. So the bottom barrel is a one-shot fusion rifle.
It's a sidearm.
It's a sidearm.
Bottom barrel is a fusion rifle.
Your bottom barrel's a fusion rifle.
Yeah, it is. Also, speaking of fusion rifles, the next one is the Bastion, the whatever. It is a fusion rifle. It is called Saint's Fist. You can charge to fire 3 spreads of, wait for it, kinetic slugs. We have a kinetic fusion rifle, not a linear fusion rifle, a fusion rifle. That thing is going to be nutters. I want it. I need it. Gotta have it. Next, we have
and
tips, tricks, guides, and builds.
So 3 spreads. So whenever I see that, I think of the spreader from Contra that shoots out the bullets in the spread shot.
You wouldn't be wrong.
So I'm wondering. I just wonder, fire. fire 3 spreads of kinetic slug. So I wonder what that's going to look like.
I think it's just a spread of 3, because you know how right now you fire a fusion and you get like 6 little pellets that come out. This one you're gonna get 3.
Yeah, so I wonder. Yeah, if it's less, just less kinetic bolts to do more damage. I don't know. And it'll also have breakthrough, so a portion of the weapon's damage bypasses elemental shields. So that's fancy.
Yeah.
So I guess the Devil's Ruin was the exotic they were talking about when they said, "Hey, the symmetry does this damage to unstoppable champions." Whoops, not what we meant to do. So the Devil's Ruin is the one they were saying this will do the damage to the unstoppable champions like it was supposed to, and the symmetry does no longer.
Yeah, and it's another one of those hard-hitting, long charge time fusion rifles. I mean, they're all right, but I mean, if it's going to be my primary, I wanted to charge a little faster. But that's just me.
Yeah, and they both will have catalysts. It looks like it doesn't. There's no information on what the catalyst does improves, but they both have pictures of catalysts. So unlike the bows, they will have catalysts. Sorry,
I
bows.
was just about to say that. You're not a nice person.
Still, I'm just saying. I mean, it's going to happen one of these days. It's going to be like Christmas, but not actual Christmas because that's over now. According to isitchristmas.com, it is no longer Christmas. so maybe
Those
it'll
guys
be
are liars.
Maybe it'll be next year. There's always thanks Christmas or your birthday.
Did you say thanks Christmas?
Next Christmas.
Oh,
I might have said thanks Christmas. I'm a very eloquent speaker.
It's like it's a new holiday. It's thanks Christmas. It's the holiday that comes before Christmas.
We just call that the month of December because let's be honest. Once October hits, it's Christmas time. After that, Thanksgiving is no more. It has lost the war. Christmas just happens. We trick or treat, and then we have Christmas cookies, and then somehow the New Year starts. So no one knows how.
Last year we had trick or treaters during Christmas. It was really weird.
There you go.
So if you've managed to stay with us this long and you're a new light player or you're a new player to Destiny over Christmas,
congratulations.
My condolences to you.
Yes, congratulations. Normally there's a bit more organization with this because...
No, there's really not. Don't lie to these people.
But if Bungie's on holiday...
But it rapidly falls apart. Come on now.
Bungie's on holiday. We're half on holiday. Let's be honest. You're not here for the content this week. You're playing the game or you're going, I can't grind anymore. I need to step away and do something else. Anything else, there's too much grind.
Yeah, and unless you're driving to work or you're really bored or you really love us, which everybody does, let's be honest, you're not even going to listen to this until next week, if at all.
No, because I think Bungie are still away next week, aren't they? They said they're going to be away for 2 weeks.
Yep, something like that.
Which is why they're not going to fix your EDZ obelisk until sometime in January.
If you're lucky.
I'm just going to take a moment with that. I spent over an hour with that obelisk. I was going to orbit. I was going back down to the EDZ. I was going to the sludge. I was traveling to the EDZ obelisk.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to know. I killed myself at the obelisk. Still didn't want to know. I went back up to orbit. I went to a different location. I came back down. I went to it.
I went to orbit. I went to a different orbit. I went to different planets.
I did. I went to all the planets and I came back and I went to every single location and then sparrowed all the way to the EDZ obelisk. Nothing.
But were you able to sparrow from the Cosmodrome to the EDZ obelisk?
No.
That's secretly how you have to get. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Honestly, I went to the obelisk once to set it up. I have not been back. I'm going, there's enough other stuff in the game. That sounds like a January problem to me. You have until March to get this season done. Right. That can be the last obelisk we talked to. It can sit there. It can pout all at once. It can have its GoFundMe to get to mental health care. It can sit over there in the corner.
I think the Wi-Fi's down on it. That's all.
Yeah, they put Devon was like, could you put it closer to me? So now that they have it, he's like, no, you get no Wi-Fi. I'm not running out there. Sorry.
But
I'm taking my router and going home.
After I'd probably say about 40 minutes on the EDZ, what I did was
1-4 or 4-0?
4-0. I loaded up the Lake of Shadows Nightfall. I went in there with some bounties for doing Vanguard strikes, and I took my gunsmith bounties, any other bounties that I just kind of do farming by myself. I thought I'm going to go
all the way to the obelisk from there.
I'm going to go. I'm going to do my bounties on the EDZ, and I'm going to work on all these other things. So I was riding around doing some. I thought, I'll go visit the obelisk. Nah, didn't want to know me. And I was like, 40 minutes I've been in this blooming Nightfall. 40 minutes. Because that little timer just keeps ticking away.
Yeah.
So I went off again and I was doing other stuff. And I thought, I'm going to try it one more time before I go back to orbit and give up on this thing. And it worked. And I thought, brilliant. I'm just going to plow
It's
all
because
my...
the game heard you about to give up. The game was like,
Yeah, I plowed all those fractaline things into it. I bought one of the bounties so that I could at least then link it to the tower one. And I was like, thank God for that. At least it's linked. I can grab bounties from the tower. Oh,
Because you will never be able to speak to it again.
no.
So, you have to wait till. Hold on. I haven't done the tower obelisk yet. Don't yell at
Okay.
me. So I've been getting bounties, many bounties from the Mars and the other one, right? So if I go to the tower,
Yes.
are those already going to be linked, or do I have to go back after the fact
Well,
and relink them?
as we're talking about it, you have to speak to Saint 14 in the tower hangar to get
Did
the
that?
quest step.
Okay.
And then you do his bounties and his quest steps and all of his who's and what's its and fiddly mid jiggies things. Once you've done that, it unlocks the tower obelisk, and it's right in the middle of the tower when you zone in, right up by Eververse and that Rahul. Now, what you need to do is you go up to it and you talk to it, and it says you have these obelisks, and it's got like the 3 or 4 different obelisk pictures for the different planets. And what it says on there is you have to do a bounty from each obelisk to activate it, to link it. What you should not do is turn in the bounty before you pick up the extra quest step for each obelisk. So what you have to do is you go to the obelisk in the tower and you have to actually click on each one and accept it into your quest steps before you then turn in the bounties for each weapon. So don't do what I did and turn in the bounties first. I only made the mistake twice.
Hey, look, somebody's got to do it, so we learn from it. All right.
So you pick up the quest steps. Then
Someone
you
has to delete the armor they need to do the quest. Somebody has, someone has to try these things to make sure we're doing it right for everybody else. And I'm glad for once it's not me for a change. Usually that's my role to screw something up. The YouTube look at me and go, "How? How did you break that so badly?"
The thing is, it sounds like we're screwing it up, but what we're really doing is we're testing it for you guys, so you guys don't make these mistakes, right? Because they never explicitly said don't do something. So us being the good guys that we are, we're like, hey, what happens if you do this? Well, now we know, and now you know, and now we're all better for it. You're welcome.
So, in saying that, we've now reached the tips, tricks, guides, and builds. So, as I said at the start of the show, this week, we've got some tips, tricks, and build guides for you. There's only a small amount, but we thought we'd add some new light starter guides that are super useful for anyone that's starting out in Destiny. So if you know somebody that's got the game for Christmas or they're lost with things to do, then we've got some of the best guides and links for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is where 19 watches all the YouTube for you this week, so you don't have to. He finds you the best hand-picked YouTube of each week. So even if you don't listen to the rest of our show, tune in for this part, because this is really where all the important information is that you can't find anywhere else. Sure, you can watch YouTube for 90 or 100 hours.
Except all the places that he found them.
Right, but I mean, yeah, you can sit here and subscribe to like 80 YouTube people and then watch the things and decide if they're useful or not. But no, British Jan has done that for you. He has them here for you, and he will now tell you all about them.
Good guy.
And I see some new ones on this week too. You've branched out even further.
I did, yes.
I see some new names.
Yes, I found an Australian guy called Anamana. Now, he started doing Destiny 2 recently, I think, back when it was just before Shadowkeep started, so back in September. And before that, he'd done like Call of Duty and Final Fantasy videos, and he's got quite a lot of following. But his name came up on my feed of, you like Destiny stuff. This guy's putting out Destiny videos. And he's got a Destiny 2 beginner's guide for 2019, which I found quite interesting and helpful for anybody that's kind of starting out, New Light or like Christmas Guardians, basically. And he kind of goes through every little thing that you kind of need to know, subclasses, even down to the fine tuning of what jump does what, how to jump, just basic stuff that will really help you out if you are starting out that's new. His guide is only about, I'd say, I think it's 25 minutes, 30 minutes long. If you've got the time for it, Ibontis has an hour's guide for new players for 2019. So this is anybody that's coming into the game new. And he breaks down everything in fine detail and goes over every little bit that you could possibly need to know. So if you've got a 20-minute one and you've got an hour one, so it depends on how you feel. Also saying that about the Anamana guy, he's got a couple of good guides out this week for, like, if you're doing the Saint 14 stuff, if you've got through the Cosmodrome and you're just kind of focusing on Dawning and Saint 14 stuff. He's got where to farm Cabal bosses, where to farm weekly bounties, and where to farm Taken. So he's got a couple of videos for that. And he also does a podcast. I'm going to promote his podcast because the last one I listened to, he was discussing about Iron Banner and some of the tips and tricks for Iron Banner in his podcast. And I think he's on episode 10 at the moment. And he also converted it into he also does it like as a live stream video as well. So I'll link that. And I think it was episode 10 this week with the Iron Banner. So I'll link that in the description, links and things. Also, Ibontis has a patrols explained. So he goes over the best patrols that you could pick up. So these are the little icons that you can see on the screen when you're down in like the EDZ or on IO or Nessus that you can pick up to go off and do. And some of them are really, really easy to do and really quick to do. And
Just
some
get
of
the
them,
one with the 4 little dots and a diamond that kill everything, and you're done. And the other one, it looks like a diamond and it looks like a triangle inside of another triangle, and you kill things and pick up stuff. That's all you need. That's it.
No.
I've just made it all easy for you.
Yeah. So Ibontis has a patrols explained guide for you. He also has a guide on how to make public events heroic. So this is every public event that you could
Oh
possibly...
my God. Yes. Oh, the new light players. Yes. You need to learn how to make this heroic. Don't be the guy to end the stupid drilling thing early. I will personally message you and say not nice things. What?
Respawn. Recently, it's not just like the new light players that are doing this. Just to get through a bounty quicker, I think a couple of the new ones do public events, and you get the same amount of XP that you would do for doing it heroic as you do normal. So people are just rushing through and killing like the bosses and doing the public events.
Yep.
They're not making them heroic. So it's not necessarily the new light players. But if you are a new light player, doing a heroic public event should get you more
everything.
It gets you more stuff. I don't know how else to put it. And you get a better chance at getting more stuff out of the chests at the end.
You get more,
loot,
consumables, more world drops. I think you get the armor you get anyway. And then the other thing is, if you're doing something that tracks how many quote unquote public events you've done, when you make it heroic, it usually counts for more towards bounty progress.
Yes, in the majority of bounties that have been around that are still in the game, you get more progress on making stuff heroic than you do completing it normally. But some of the newer bounties, like for Saint 14, I believe that you get like 22% for doing a public event, and you have to just do 5. It's ridiculous. But there is a guide from Ibontis that will take you through how to do those.
And don't listen to Glad when he says the one with the Taken and the big giant blights is just random. It's not random. There's a way to make it heroic.
Yes.
It's not random.
Yeah, so that one, I'm going to go ahead and say it because this tilts the hell out of me. When there's blights, do not kill the damn blight. Stop killing the blight. Leave the blight alone. The blight has done nothing to you. Go in the blight, get the buff, shoot the big orb in the sky, go back in the blight, get the buff, shoot the big orb in the sky, go back in the blight, get the buff, shoot the big orb in the sky. Stop killing the blights! Sorry.
Or the Taken that are in the blights or outside the blights.
Yes, just stop.
Because you'll upset Respawn.
A little bit, yeah.
Even if he's not on the instance that you're fighting, the blights, he will still get upset. No matter where he is in the world, he will know.
I have a tracker.
Okay, so Houndish, who's another really good YouTuber that puts out a lot of videos, and I'll talk about him in a second.
AKA your counterpart, your alternate ego, the guy that you pretend that you're not, but we all know that you are.
Anyway, he has a new Titan, Hunter, and Warlock builds video, and they're kind of slight adjustments to the ones that have been out for the last couple of weeks. But the Warlock one in particular uses quite a lot of the new mods from the obelisks to have basically unlimited health, unlimited ammo, and unlimited super. So just that Warlock build in itself is worth watching that video. And again, he goes Titan, Hunter, and Warlock. And the Titan one is the unlimited throwing hammers with a slight variation. The Hunter is the middle tree hunter with the throwing knives. So that's like dodging and rolling, throwing out those knives and getting the burns and proccing that quite a lot. And the Warlock build uses the Telesto, which is quite a good build. And talking of Telesto, Cheese Forever has a video with a Telesto and shows you a bubble glitch. So if you're a bubble Titan...
Oh, this is something new? This isn't just bait people into the bubble and then murder them viciously?
No, this is new. This is... you get a Titan...
Telesto is even more broken than before?
Oh, yes. You get a Titan, you put a bubble up, and your friend can shoot your bubble
His
anywhere.
Name is Pan, yes.
Anywhere. You know, as long as he hits the bubble. But the bullets don't stick on the outside of the bubble. Oh, no. They go right in the center on the floor of the bubble. For some reason, you could shoot
Bubble of radiance. It's amazing.
Yeah, you can shoot at the top, the sides, and for some reason, it puts all those orbs on the floor in the middle. So anybody running in will just die.
Oh, that is amazing.
And what's even worse is he's talking about somebody from the outside shooting you as a Titan while being in your own bubble.
Oh yeah, you can shoot it
the inside with the Telesto, and it will still put the little explodey bits at your feet, and they will stay there till somebody walks in and detonates them.
Oh,
as far as I can tell, they don't detonate ever until somebody manually walks over them and detonates them.
Oh, that is filthy, and just there's no coming back from that one. That's too filthy.
Yeah, no,
there's no getting clean from that build ever again.
On the way home, I took a break, and Cheese Forever video popped up, and it said new Telesto glitch. Boy. I'm like, what? And I look at it, and I see that. I'm like, oh my god, why? So it's bad enough you're already invincible. All you have to do is shoot a wall with a Telesto and just stand there taunting people, and they come in and kill themselves. You don't even have to punch.
You don't even have to lift a finger. Just
no.
Oh, that is amazing.
Disgusting. That is horrific.
That's amazing.
That is terrifying.
I almost wonder at this point if the Telesto is some sort of like bug they put in the game to be like, okay, what if we have a gun that just breaks everything? What's the worst that could possibly happen? Because it's just, I mean, the Telesto is a broken gun. That's what it's there to do. I mean, this is what it seems like every patch or every update, there's some major Telesto bug.
Something. But yeah, it's not ideal. All the things that are happening with the Telesto.
It's incredible. I don't know what you're talking about.
So Telesto is a fusion rifle that is basically broken in every iteration of Destiny's patches that have gone through the last year or so. They find ways of patching it, and then somebody finds a new way that it's broken. So if you haven't got it, check out some of these videos that mention the Telesto and see if you can get it from Zer when he visits every Friday, or just as a world drop, and hope you're lucky if you're new to the game.
Oh my goodness, get it while it's hot. Oh, mic's on, damn it.
Okay, so if you are doing some of the dawning stuff, Jarv has a fast dawning XP farm that he goes over with picking up bounties and doing... I think because some of the dawning ones are, well, I say some of them, the dawning bounties are double XP. So he shows you a couple of quick tricks to kind of double and triple up on your bounties, so you can do more farming of your XP to get further on your season pass quicker. So that's one to watch. He also has one for Easy Fractaline Bug Guide. Now, I didn't realize this, and I'm probably sure that you guys didn't realize this. Once you've linked the tower obelisk, you can then buy consumables from the Tower Obelisk that will give you more chances of getting Fractaline components from doing other activities. And
Okay.
it says on it that you can only purchase 6 per week per account. Now they found that if you only purchase 5 and then wait until reset and go back and buy another 5, wait until reset and go back and buy another 5, as long as you don't max it out to 6, you can pick up as many as you like for that week. Every day at reset, you
But
can go back and visit the Tower Obelisk, and as long as you don't purchase the 6, purchase the 5, you can pop these things like they're what are the other things that you can kind of like the glimmer parody?
okay.
Come on, parody.
Glimmer extractors.
The Rainmaker.
Yeah, Rainmaker.
Rainmakers and the ones for the
Yeah, I can never remember
enhancement
what the other ones are
cores.
called.
Yeah, there's loads of consumables that you can kind of pop to boost your chances of getting more drops, and these Fractaline things that you can buy from this Tower Obelisk will give you more chance of getting more these Fractaline things to drop whilst doing like Crucible games, strikes, Gambit, anything kind of like that.
All of the things.
All of the things. So follow the steps in the Jarv guide and take you through it. He also has another guide for, there's a really long bounty for, it's called 3 Birds, 1 Stone. And you've got to get 3 scout rifle kills really, really quickly, I think. Have you guys come across this one yet?
I have not. This is not a Crucible thing, is it?
No.
No. It's one, yeah, no. I got it from the. I don't remember which obelisk it was. Yeah, I got it from one of the obelisks. Yeah, like to go get 3 scout rifle kills in a group quickly.
Yeah.
I picked it up, put the symmetry into its little tracking fire mode, and headed over to Firebase Hades because nobody ever goes there, and just sat back and lobbed tracking bolts at Cabal until I got it done.
Well, there are a couple of good places, and I think one of them's on the Leviathan, which every New Light player has access to. So you can go to the raid on the Leviathan on Nessus and load up the first section, go into the Castellum, which is right at the very beginning of the raid, and you'll just get unlimited Cabal, keep farming out that you can just shoot with scout rifles. Or if you've done the Whisper mission, which is for the Whisper of the Worm sniper rifle, you can go into that mission in the heroic version, and there's a point in it that you can kind of drop down and you have unlimited Taken Thrall attack you, and they just like line up. They're just running at you constantly, and you can get that done really, really quickly. Also, there's a couple of other bounties that you can pick up from those obelisks that, like, I think there was one like get 300 Cabal kills and 10 finishes. Now you can go and do that on the Leviathan, and if you've got this one as well, you can kind of double up on getting those kills as well. So there's a lot of like doubling up with doing different things, and I believe Saint 14 actually sells daily ones that you can then go and kill, but like 50 Cabal and get 10 finishes and things like that. So just have a look at what you're kind of picking up from all the different places. A lot of people don't realize that the bounties that you can get from Zavala aren't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to go into a strike and do. Some of them are just like 25 grenade kills or 10 finishes. They're not specific to strikes. I mean, just read them as you go along. So you may be able to do like 2 or 3 of them in Crucible if that's where you're going to go, or in Gambit, wherever basically. So just have a look at the different things, the bounties that you're picking up, because you may be able to stack like 2 or 3 of them and go off and do one activity and get quite a lot done.
You should also remember that Escalation Protocol, whether you're looking for hive kills or if it doesn't matter, super easy thing to spin up and just spawn a bunch of hive to kill when you're looking for your scout rifle kills or just killing, killing a lot of anything.
Yeah. So
See, I actually prefer anytime that I get something that's not race specific, I always go to the northern lost sector on Mars, because they run at you indefinitely. Well, not indefinitely, but you have a lot to just run at you inside that lost sector, and it's great, man. For all the you got to kill this many headshots or kill this many things in a row or whatever. That's also really great. And you don't really have to do anything for it. It's just a lost sector. You don't have to start up an escalation protocol or go into a raid or any of that crap. It's just lost sector, north part of Mars, good to go.
There you go. Tip from Respawn. There was a really, really good gun in Destiny 2 Year 1 called Uriel's Gift, and it was an auto rifle.
Ooh, it's back.
And I did not realise it's back. It's now
back.
it's
got
been
one.
reintroduced to the game in a 2.0 version, so you can get random rolls of this. I believe that you can get it from Gunsmith, random world drops, etc. And Cool Guy has got a video on rolls, and basically, this gun is an auto rifle laser. So it doesn't matter whether you're on console or you're on PC. It's a really, really good gun to get, and there are some good rolls out there for you to be looking out for. And as I said, Cool Guy has a video on that.
I would definitely have to check that out because I didn't see any good rolls for it. I was happy it was back, but I didn't see any of the.
All of them are good.
I believe it
rolls.
comes with Kill Clip. It doesn't come with anything like Feeding Frenzy or anything like that, but it has got Kill Clip on it.
Yeah, but the other slot doesn't have anything that pairs with Kill Clip. I mean, if they had something like a rapid hit or just something that would pair with Kill Clip, then it would be great. But I don't think they do, and that's why I was a little disappointed. I'll go back and double check. Maybe Light GG has updated it or something. But at the time when I looked at it, it didn't have anything that I would be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get it!" But it is back, so that's nice.
Watch his video, because the role that he's got on, he says is a really, really good role, and I think he's got like Firmly Planted or something you wouldn't really think about using. But
You're right. I
do trust what Cool Guy says, because he knows how.
He's cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, and he's a guy.
So this is one for you, Respawn. Rustophilus has got a video on bows that are good. Now he takes.
Duh.
I know you know this, but a lot of other people might not know. Bows are good.
That's the entire video. Bows are good. Moving on.
Yeah. Even without a catalyst, they're still good.
Especially the Wish Ender and PvE.
Yeah, for now. I guarantee that's going to get patched in January, but whatever. Continue. Moving on. What's the video?
The video is he takes in two different types of bow. He takes in a fast firing one and like a medium firing one. I think it's Spiteful Fang, and I can't remember the other one. But he basically goes over like the different versions and how to use them. And with the new mod that you can put on for the overload, also giving you extra damage, it also helps just killing normal ads. And he goes into like a Nightfall. He shows you like how quickly he can like draw and fire on somebody.
You 1 or 2 shot every red bar, and yellow bars, if you can't do a lot of damage, you just swap to your special.
He was putting a case forward for the faster firing bows.
Yes, absolutely.
You may necessarily, it may take 2 shots, but you can get off like a quick shot. You don't necessarily have to kind of aim and get a headshot. You can get a body shot and then a headshot kind of thing.
No,
and I know this is something you've been an advocate for quite some time, but I thought if somebody wants to go and watch, I mean, in the video he dies over and over and over again, but he's trying to get his point across about that you can do this, but you can't do that. You can do this, but you can't do that. And it's quite a good watch, and he does reiterate it quite a lot of times. But I think everybody will come to the same conclusion if they kind of try and get the role that he's got, or as a very similar role. I think he had one with, I can't remember what's the perk that when you're jumping in there? It's not the Icarus one, is it? It's something.
That sounds like Icarus to me. What are you referring to?
It's not Icarus Grip. It's something else. Gonna have to look now.
Yeah, so that's the one I can think of that's aerial related.
Unless you know something we don't. And he's probably gonna say it, and we're both gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's the thing." Yeah.
I've got it on one of my hand cannons.
Well, while you're looking for that, the best bow that I can recommend.
Aerosol.
Ah, okay.
So you get more accuracy when firing from there. And he said, it's worth kind of doing that, because if you're kind of just hopping in the air and taking a pot shot, that the accuracy and does help.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to recommend a bow.
One of the best ones out there. It used to be Arsenic Bite, but then they changed the roles you can get on Arsenic Bite. You used to be able to get a Dragonfly as well as Rampage, but you can't get that anymore. So what you can get that on right now is actually Subtle Calamity. And the bow that I have, the Subtle Calamity I have, has Explosive Head, has Dragonfly, has a mod for draw time, and has the other strings either help my draw time or help my range. And I have a 576 draw time on a Subtle Calamity with Explosive Head and Firefly, and it is disgusting. So get it, love it, live it. It never leaves your inventory because it doesn't need to, and you're good.
Okay.
But Arsenic Bite is also really good because both of those can get either 600 millisecond or sub 600 millisecond draw times. So if you don't have the Hush and you don't have the raid bows, this is what you want to get your hands on. Subtle Calamity, Arsenic Bite are going to be some of your fast firing bows within the game. And they get really good rolls like Firefly and Explosive Head and Rampage. And sorry, drooling a little bit. Didn't mean it. Moving on.
Plunder the Booty has got an unlimited sword and super titan build. So this is with the Black Talon exotic sword. Again, it's one of those videos you're going to have to watch because there's a lot of moving parts with different mods that you kind of need to spec out for. But if it's something that you kind of want to have a go at and play around with, especially for PvE, it's one worth to watch. He also has a new god rolls to farm, so the new weapons that are for the obelisks and the sundial. These are ones that he thinks that'd be good, or god rolls. So that's it for the tips and tricks and builds and guides.
And videos and
videos.
And
but I thought I'd just kind of run down some of the channels to check out for anybody that is new or anybody that is interested in some of the ones that we kind of follow. So Houndish will
your
give
alter
you...
ego.
Houndish is not my alter ego.
Your better half.
Houndish is a posh sounding British man who tells you all the Destiny news.
Yeah.
And knows all the good things. And I swear he gets inside information because he gets things that everyone, I feel like, comes from him first. Like he has a straight line right to Bungie or something. He always needs to be right on top of things as they're happening. So if you enjoy listening to this British man, go listen to a different British man.
Yeah.
Damn.
As Parody said,
this guy, there's a better guy out there.
Well, I didn't say there's a better guy. I'm just saying if you enjoy the British man, have yourself another British man. You can never have too many.
He does a weekly reset video, literally half an hour after reset. He'll go through all the different things in the Eververse, everything that's kind of Flashpoint wise, anything that you kind of need to know, what the escalation protocol boss is for the week, what the raid modifiers are for the week. He breaks it down every single week without fail. He also does a video on a Friday where Zer is and what roles Zer has. And yeah, I mean, he has all the news, as Parody said.
Houndish is what should have shipped with the game, but they didn't actually ship with the game.
Astacross Gaming. Now, he goes in depth into weapons, really. I mean, he does a couple of builds as well, but he'll do a lot of like testing of weapons that are either altered or weapons that have kind of pair well with a certain build. So he has some fantastic videos out there that we do recommend each week. Fallout Plays does a lot of testing. Recently, he's done all the different changes to the subclass abilities that have come in this patch or this Season of Dawn. He breaks down like how much damage numbers are for weapons. He'll show you kind of what you can tank, what can a Titan bubble survive.
All the questions you have, but you're too lazy to do the testing yourself, basically.
The questions that you have that you don't know you need the answers to.
What do these mods, he did a great series a while back on what do these mods actually do?
Oh my God, yes. He stopped doing that.
Like, what does it actually... Well, I think he was driving himself slowly insane. By the last one, you could hear like the level of sanity just decreasing video after video because
But it was so good.
He's like, I spent 4 hours, firing at my friends or into a wall to try to figure out what exactly these things do, and he does some good deep dives.
Yeah.
And like how the barrel length on your decorative mods
actually makes your shotgun better. Yep. So yeah. So if you want deep dives and some fun PvP stuff, Fallout Plays. He is also haunted by the Arbalist.
Respawn, would you like to tell us about Imtash?
I was gonna tell you Imtash, but before I tell you Imtash, I was gonna precede it by, if you like entertaining videos,
not
mostly
on the
about
list.
PvP, then the Jez is really good. I don't know if you know him. He's not on the list, no, but he actually, if you
Now I'm
watch
gonna
the
have to put him
Jez,
on- I'm
the
gonna have to put
Jez,
him
you'll
on-
see Imtash gets a lot of his personality traits from him. So he's like, you are, yeah, and that's why I was going to say I was going to precede Imtash with this.
No,
Let
it's
me
fine.
get the
I can
exact
find. I
link
know the
because
Jez. He's
I
on the
watch him,
list.
but I
It's
don't
alright. It's
know
on
how
my
to
list.
pronounce it.
I watch.
Okay, yeah. So Jez is really good. And if you really like the Jez, Imtashed is the Jez Light, I guess. He's
Diet
not quite as
Jez?
good as the Jez, but he's also very entertaining, especially
Does
when
the
you
Jez do
PvP
builds
things.
and weapons and things?
I said if you
Maybe-
like entertainment. I preceded by if you like entertainment. He is entertaining. He does do some builds and he tests things out in PvP. Like, this last one that he just did is why not to bring the Gambit shotgun into PvP. Things like that.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I tried that. Don't do that at all. I didn't watch the video, but I thought, see how this goes. No, you should not.
No, so he will do these things for you so that you don't have to. Again, he's very entertaining. I like him a lot. I watch him for the fun factor, not the news factor. So if you're into that kind of thing, there you go. And then Imtash is the same way. Imtash will feed you information. Imtash will feed you entertainment, and then go on about your day.
Imtash does do a lot of builds as well and a lot of weapon testing.
does.
Like he will farm for 40 of the same weapon from the Menagerie or from the Reckoning, and he
Or the
will
last,
go.
the last hope. He farmed the hell out of the last hope until he found his.
He
Sniper.
will go through so many different roles, or he'll spend all his tokens at the gunsmith just to get a roll of a weapon to tell you whether it's good or not. Or he knows it's good, so that's what he's going to go for, and then he'll show you gameplay of that. So he puts a lot of effort into, this gun is really good and you need to try and get it. If you've already got it, then good. But I'm going to spend the next 6 hours trying to get it to tell you it's good.
And then he'll take it immediately into PvP, even if it's a PvE weapon.
Plunder the Booty, as we've mentioned earlier, does a lot of build guides. So he goes really, really in depth with pairing like the new mods and like old mods and old year 1 armor and year 2 armor and 2.0 armor, and seeing, what you can how far you can push the limits of these builds to. And every week he's putting out a different build, or he tweaks another build that he's worked on. But yeah, he puts out some really good builds. One of the best content creators that we could recommend is Cheese Forever. If there is a glitch, if there is a way that you can cheat the game in any way to help you get through a quest, get through anything in the game, Cheese Forever is your go-to guy. He lays it out there, plain English, no faffing about. It's just, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. Boom, done. That's it. The video's over and done within like a couple of minutes. One of the, I couldn't recommend him highly. You guys the same, aren't you?
I'm a big fan of Cheese Forever. And he's not one of those guys that'll fluff the video with, this is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends, or hey, check out my merch, or any of that other crap. He starts the video, gets immediately into the glitch, and then ends the video. That's it. Just the meat and cheese of the news, and then he's gone. So it's great. It's to the point.
I think it's just the cheese. The cheese is nothing but the cheese, so help you cheese. It's also worth, because I feel like every time we mention like glitches or bugs, people are like, oh, are these hacks? Or it's like, no, these are things that are problems with the game. Again, just to clarify, we're not, he's not going to tell you how to DDoS people. He's not going to tell you how to, do things that make the game worse for everybody. These are bugs and issues in the game itself.
Yeah, but if you want to know how to do that,
most of it's PvE stuff. Some of it's PvP. It just depends on what's broken. It's basically, if Bungie had QA testers that publicly said, hey guys, here are the bugs we found in the game and here's how to exploit them. That's what it is. That's the service he provides. That I'm sure someone at Bungie's going, oh no, we missed this one. Oh god, there's a new Cheese Forever video. What now? So now,
they got him on lock. They got somebody that specifically watches Cheese Forever videos. They do.
Yeah, but again, short, sweet, to the point. If the video is 30 seconds, you'll have a 30-second video. That's it. Also a friend of the show.
Yes.
Very, very good friend.
Jarv is another English person that you could watch. And again, he has a lot of like tutorials and on how to do certain things. So if you like listening to British people tell you how to do things, there's another one.
It makes you a better gamer.
Like is a strong word.
Speaking from someone who listens to a British man tell him how to play the game better, it works. It's a good system. You should embrace it.
Rustophilis also has a lot of builds that he puts together and a lot of tips and tricks for how to play the game, PvP and PvE. Planet Destiny, they've been around since day dot. Again, they do a lot of videos on and off of guides of how to do something, like the last couple of Saint 14 things that they've put out, where to go and find these different things on the planets. They'll do a weekly reset guide. So if you like listening to the Black Link, who mainly does them, that's one for you guys to go and check out. Cool guy, as we said, does a lot of weapons and PvP stuff. Eeyore does a lot of PvE testing of weapons. Again, he will sometimes put out builds and sometimes put out weapon reviews, or you need to get this roll of a weapon. True Vanguard is another PvP person to watch. He does a lot of like Crucible School stuff, how to do this, how to do that, how to get better at this. Deicide has quite a few videos on builds and weapons, and I think recently he's been highlighting sidearms, which have kind of come back up into the forefront of builds. So there's I haven't mentioned it on the show, but he did the Last Jedi, Last Stand, whatever it was, video for a sidearm as one to go and kind of watch. Ninja Pups does a couple of guides very similar to Cheese Forever.
Yeah, if you enjoy Cheese Forever, you'll enjoy Ninjas.
He does guides, he does a few like glitches and cheeses. Saying that, glitch tutorials is one that Cheese Forever recommended to us, and so I clicked that, put that on my subscribe list. So anything like the Yeet glitch that came up a couple of weeks ago, if you want to do something like in third person, he goes off and finds these glitches and gets them out into the world. Bontis is one that Panoramics recommended to me a very long time ago. Has on his own podcast, The Last Word. Again, I listen to that every week. It's a really good, fun podcast to listen to. He also does like in-depth, hour-long videos on YouTube, as I've highlighted for any new players. And he'll break down everything really, really simply for you. And he's really easy to listen to. Really good guy, and worth watching.
Yeah, Bontes will run things to the point where he will give you a live commentary as he's running through a Nightfall, running through, whatever it is he's doing. He'll give you the live commentary of what he's doing as he's doing it, because he's played these things a trillion times. And it's straightforward, it's easy to listen to, and he's a nice guy. So go check him out. Like I said, his podcast is a lot of fun because they do the podcast like they'll be hanging out in the game somewhere. So they get a little sidetracked at times when someone jumps up and dances with them or tries to join the podcast video.
EK Gene is one guy that I found from Planet Destiny. Listen to their podcast. He does a lot of like weapon testings and builds as well. So every now and then he'll come out with something that's very unique, a good piece of information. So that's another person to follow. And this new guy, this Australian guy, that's again also started his own podcast, which I started listening to. It's quite interesting. Anna Manna is another one to watch, because he's got quite a lot of guides for new players that are coming in. He might not stick around in Destiny. It looks like he kind of rotates around all different games, but at the moment his focus is Destiny 2, and he's got a lot of videos for anybody that's coming into it. Other things we could probably talk about are some of the websites that we kind of use for finding out our news and information, or finding out stuff about in the game. So there is Destiny Roundup, which do kind of pour all the Reddits, the Twitters, anything that these guys, DMG, Cosmo, Deej, anything that's kind of said by Bungie that's out there that's not in the TWAB, or sometimes it's stuff that's kind of referenced in the TWAB but then goes off on different tangents on the Reddits and things. They will kind of collate it and put it on their website, which is then where we kind of get our stuff from to kind of read out to you guys. Destiny Tracker is something that you can kind of look at your stats. You can put in your like gamer tags, look at how well you've done in Crucible, how well you've done in PvE, check your raid stats as well. And there's also another one which is braytech.org. Parody, you use this one quite a lot, don't you?
Oh, Braytech. Yeah, Braytech is the interface to the game that should have been shipped with the game. If you're looking for everything from who's in my clan, like part of the problem with this game is there's no good way to manage clans or to see, hey, we've hit our limit again. Who hasn't played in 3? Show you like what people are doing, what light level they are, when they last played. They'll show you, what triumphs or what, if you're trying to figure out, hey, I just want to go and try to knock out a triumph, what can I do? Or how close am I to triumphs? They'll show you like your couple next closest triumphs. Pretty much anything you want to do in the game, it's on that site. It's a phenomenal effort that I think is just one guy coding it. And it's braytech.org. It's basically what I keep up along with Destiny Item Manager when I play the game, because it's got your collections, your triumphs, stuff you're trying to do this week. It even has I think Lowline Dev's collection of maps if you're trying to figure out, okay, where am I going, and I need to go to this lost sector on this planet. Where is that? They've got really detailed maps that have all that information in there, and it's even everything up to your quest line. If you're working on a quest line going, I'm working on this catalyst, or I'm trying to figure out the C14 quest, they've got all of your active quests you can pull up and look at. Here's all the steps of what I'm trying to get done on it. It's braytech.org is my favorite site, hands down, for dealing with Destiny. So that's my, I've talked about it a lot, and we're going to talk about it again because it's great.
Respawn, would you like to tell us about light.gg?
Oh man, light.gg. If you're looking for like me, you're a weapons kind of guy, right? Light.gg is the place to go. You look up the weapon by name, and it'll tell you every possible role that weapon can have, including its curator role if it has one. And you can even look up what individual perks do and what weapons have those perks that say, hey, I like Rampage. Rampage is a cool perk. You click on the Rampage perk, and then it'll tell you every weapon that can roll with Rampage. It's kind of nifty. So really, really good as far as weapons and perks go. I'm sure it might have like an armor thing. Don't know. Never use it. I use it exclusively for weapons and perks to see what I can get. So
it does have an armor thing as well.
Yeah.
It also is helpful if you're kind of looking up the exotic quests and exotic quest steps for, say, exotics that are coming into the game. So the new sidearm and the new fusion rifle that are coming into the game. That's where we kind of got our information from this week. Kind of gives you rough hints at what you're going to kind of need to be doing. We didn't kind of go through it this week because it's not coming to the following week. But so you can look up quest steps and things like that as well.
That I didn't know. Again, I never use it for anything besides weapon builds. So it's good to know.
So there are also a couple of good apps that you can get to help you with your item manager, basically. So rather than keep flying to the tower or swapping over characters and kind of having to dump stuff in your vault, which is where you store all your kind of items, there are apps that you can get on your phones, you can get on your tablets, on your desktops, on your PCs. There's Little Light. There is the Destiny Item Manager and the
It's pronounced
Commander.
DIM.
Yes, DIM. And Ishtar Commander. So these are all kind of, we'll put these in the links for you to kind of go and you link your Bungie account to it so you can then see what's in your vault. You can also, on Destiny Item Manager, for one thing, you can kind of click on a weapon and you can compare it to another weapon. You can compare it to all the weapons.
FYI, these are both apps and web browser things you can go to online. They're not just apps. They're not just online. They're both.
Yes, very helpful. Couldn't recommend them, highly. Then they kind of help you with the game. Basically, do your item management part of it. You in Destiny Item Manager, you can select a weapon to say it's your favorite. You can say it's junk or it's something you want to infuse. Things like that will help you kind of.
The community gets involved and tells you, like, hey, I think this weapon's like a 3 out of 5 in PvP, but a 5 out of 5 in PvE.
Yeah.
Little community helpful hints here and there.
Yeah, it's a nice way to say, should I keep this gun or should I scrap it? It's also nice if you're trying, we talk about builds and loadouts and people are going, well, how do you make these? DIM and Ishtar Commander both, and Little Light haven't used it in a while, so forgive me if they do this as well. You can actually build a loadout. You can actually say, let me create a loadout, and you can put in whatever ghost you want, whatever, 3 weapons, whatever your armor pieces you can, if you're going into Gambit Prime or going to a raid and say, hey, I need all my Gambit Prime armor, I need all my raid armor on, here's the weapons I want. You can hit a button and it will move, it'll move and equip all those weapons and all that armor on your character, which again, the game needs to have
wonky about exotics. It's like, hey, you already have an exotic equipped. It won't think to take off one exotic to put on another one.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but at least if you've got, some armor on you, some armor in your, you don't remember which, where you put it, it'll at least move it to your character if you have some empty slots. So it is at least a nice way to build some, start building some loadouts, because there is no way to do that in the game itself other than just looking for what you're trying to use.
Dumb.
I mean, a tip for if you are starting out as a player, or even if you're an existing player and you've got space in your vault, keep as many guns as you can, and
Don't listen to him.
As many guns as you can, because you never know.
They fall in and out of how good they are depending on the season and what's popular.
Yeah, and you never know if that gun that you've picked up, you're not sure about it. We may highlight a video, or you may find a video or guide that says this weapon can be used here, and it's a complete DPS machine, or it's this or it's that. So that's the reason why I keep a lot of things.
When things get nerfed, a nerf from one weapon could actually raise this weapon up in its place, or this weapon might get buffed. Like, there's a lot of different things, right? So the last hope, the last dance. Now sidearms are a thing now, right? So now Rat Pack, people are using the Rat Pack whenever people used to say the Rat Pack was crap.
Rat King.
So,
Rat King.
Damn it.
You were so close. You were on such a roll.
I was, man. Damn it. Rat.
So yeah.
King.
Good reason to keep a lot of weapons.
Exactly.
Another app that you can have on your phone or on the a web browser is the 100.io. Now this is for anybody that's looking to kind of join groups or get involved in clans, or just kind of find people that are very similar to how you play. You can put in a lot of information about how you play, what time you play, what time zones you play, and this will kind of try and pair you up with people that are very similar to you, similar time zones, and try and kind of get you all playing together, so that maybe you can kind of then join a clan. You don't necessarily have to join the Frozen clan,
but you want to, because
and there are some groups in there that are actually pretty active, that are that'll actually run a couple of raids a week or do these activities. It's not just solely LFG, like, oh hey, I'm looking to run a raid tonight, who's doing what. It's actually groups you can join that are a couple hundred people, or big groups of people who actually run things periodically and say, hey, if I'm looking to raid a whole bunch, I need 5 more people. Jump into one of those and get yourself a good consistent group together. And it's a way to get into a clan, or even if you don't, just it's a way to find people to play with more consistently than just, all right, let's roll the dice on 5 random people and see if we can get through this or not.
Roll the dice. That's such a scary thing. Oof.
LFG is terrifying.
It's kind of scary, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Repawn might end up in your group, and then but he won't take your raid exotic. You can be sure of.
That's accurate.
Still no. I mean, I was like, you probably haven't raided much this week. Still no luck on that.
No,
anything.
I haven't raided to do anything. But yeah, just don't ask me to lead the raid unless you're gonna listen to what I have to say. And when I say listen to what I have to say, I mean don't do the exact opposite thing that I say not to do exactly when I say not to do it.
So you've got LFG.net. You've got the apps on, like for Xbox, have got their own LFG built into the game part of the dashboard. So yeah, there's GamerLink, which I believe Houndish plugs quite a lot on his videos. So there are other places that you can kind of find other guardians of similar activities, basically, to kind of link up with. Or you could just message people in the town, say, "Can I join your clan?"
You could.
That might work.
Or you could just be a BA in an activity, and they'll be like, "Holy crap, that guy's really good. We should invite him." Yeah.
Or have the proper dance, wear the proper shader. You never know what criteria people use to invite you to a clan.
You never know.
So I hope that's kind of helped anybody that's new, or anybody's existing that didn't know about some of these other things.
Yeah, and before we get to the very end of this, there's a couple things that you didn't touch on that, again, Destiny is a game where there's a story there, and there's some books, and you can try to read the lore, and it's it's there and disjointed, and they forget about large portions of it from time to time. But if you are sort of vaguely curious, like, who are all these people? Why do we care? Why are we fighting them? There's a lovely Australian man, Mylan Games. which will, again, and all of these we'll put in the show notes so you're not trying to spell them or Google them or figure out how to spell these people. Who will do a deep dive into what, usually it's a certain lore topic. It's, who is 814 and why do we care? What's up with Cade 6, where if you're new to the game, just ignore Cade 6. He's dead. He's amazing, but he's dead. And he's
You do not.
so
Okay. You saved yourself there.
If you're sitting here going, even like, if you're going, okay, there's these different, there's a Titan, a Warlock, and a Hunter. Why do they exist? Why these three classes? What's the backstory behind them? He'll pick a topic and do a deep dive into those. And another one is My Name is Byf, which is BYF, which he does a lot of lore, but more importantly, he does a series called That Sounds Like a You Problem, which is basically, if I were to try to explain to you what playing with the Frozen Clan is like, it's a lot like that. So if you watch those videos, that's more or less what you're going to expect here. But no, he does those with a couple guys, and they are absolutely hilarious. But he also does, again, some deep dives into Destiny. He has put out a huge, I think, 90-minute opus of the complete Destiny timeline, where if you really want to know, starting with D1, how we got to where we got to, who all these people are, what the backstory is, he has put it all together. So again, if it's not really a game about deep lore and storytelling, but if you are sort of curious, why are we murdering these alien races over and over again? Who are these names that I keep hearing that I don't know who they are?
Wrong question.
Violent Games and My Name is Byf is a good way to sort of dip your toe into that and say, who are these people? Why do we care? Or if not, just skip the cutscenes and continue murdering on. And I would be remiss if I didn't also mention DestinyPodcast.com at the expense of, sending you fine people elsewhere in the Destiny community. Actually, the guys over at Kingsley and Sin over at the Guardian Hub have been running a list of just other Destiny podcasts out there in the world that are alive and active, and this list has grown. There's probably
mention the Guardian
20. We can mention the Guardian Hub. We'll do that here in a second. But
yeah, we did that just now.
yeah. And we also recorded with them a week ago. So yeah, if you don't want to know who they are, go listen to their show too. They grab someone from the community, interview them every week, or have us on for some reason. They like talking to us. We don't know why either. But if this podcast isn't quite your thing, or if you're like, hey, I want to do something a little bit different, there's a bunch of stuff out there. Yeah, I mean, you should listen to us anyway because it helps our numbers, and we love you, and we'll send you all the great things in the world.
Yeah.
But there's a whole big list of podcasts. One I'll recommend just real briefly is Destiny Massive Breakdowns, which is exactly what it says it is. They do a massive breakdown into what guns do you think? It's Mercules 904 and Kit Ketcha are the two main hosts of that. And they will do a deep dive into what are these guns? Why do you care? Numbers. They've got some weapon stats and I believe armor stats spreadsheets on their site at DestinyMassiveBreakdowns.com. If you want numbers, if you're looking to min-max stuff out, if you want to get every last little bit of DPS out of that gun, that's where I'm going to send you guys to go check them out. Because they really do deep dives into this stuff, and it's a little overwhelming at times, honestly, but it's also just really interesting information, and they've got a good rapport going between the two of them. And I know Night Demon listens to a whole bunch of other shows, so I can let him tell you about all the shows he listens to, or not, because you should just listen to our show, and that's it. Because we are the one true show.
No, I've recommended Last Word with Debontis and
Lord Cognito.
Lord Cognito, that was it. The Guardian Hub, Planet Destiny, Destiny Community Podcast, Fire Team Chat. There's many out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows, and yeah, it's it's a big community, but it's also a little tiny small community. So it's just fun if again, if we're not your thing, or hey, if you've stumbled across our show from their shows,
stop saying that.
Welcome
For their thing. There's nobody better than us. Shut up.
And also, I just wanted to throw a quick shout out too, just to Mr. Beer Dad, Bit Dad on Twitter, who every week just tweets out a huge list of the podcasts that he's digging this week, and we're always on that list. And I appreciate just a little boost every week he gives us. This dude listens to a lot of shows every week, and I just appreciate, being one things he listens to, and he throws out there into the world, out there in good old Merry England as well.
Last week, I believe it was Cody asked us what we would kind of be looking forward to in the future, wasn't it? Or something that we'd like to change? Was it something?
Yeah.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are we looking forward to in Destiny going forward?
Well, what could we change going forward?
Catalyst, obviously.
Yeah. That was it.
How
Yeah,
do we make the game better?
and Bowser's Race was parodies. Yes, something like that. So I threw the question out to the clan, and we had a couple of people answer. And Parody, would you kind of take us through what their answers were? Because I was quite interested to see anybody else.
All right, so we'll do Fuzzco first because that's a name I can pronounce. So Fuzzco says, and he's coming to us from PC, so his podcast, yes, his perspective may be a little bit different than those of us on the console. So he says, I'd like to never see a power ammo quest step in Iron Banner unless they increase the spawn rates, because for one, he says it's impossible to get to, and he says wholly ignoring cap points, Batman. Everyone wants a piece of that power ammo, and that's the problem. It's another game type. It's another quest that makes you ignore the objective you're trying to play. So those people trying to get through the game can't, because everyone's trying to do one particular thing. So absolutely agree with that one. And now we're gonna butcher Enkaskal, Enkaskal, Enkaskal. He'll have to yell at me when I butcher his name. He says, for what it's worth, here's my list from a new light perspective. Number 1, less bugs, more QA.
It's a feature.
It's a feature and a bug, both. Number 2, in-game tooling. Loadouts, select/compare and vault in Director instead of Eververse. Dim, Ishtar Commander, little light. Again, it's not in the game. You need that to make your life better. Number 3, increase of chance of traction mod drop. Let Respawn tell you, we all have that thing we're chasing. One day it will happen, and it will be a glorious day.
Or not. Yeah.
Right.
That's the life how I live it right now.
Number 4, he says Zer RNG, Prometheus lens, Titan rig location, too many dupes? ? Which I'm guessing means he's selling the same, showing up at the same place too many times, selling the same stuff too many times. Zer, branch out, buddy. Get some new stuff. The 9 are allegedly powerful folk.
Yeah, for real.
Number 5, Armor 2.5, increasing rolls instead of new sets plus ornaments to replace sets so they're usable, plus death to enhancement prisms.
Oh my God, death to enhancement, any damn thing, man. Cores, we've already had this conversation on many podcasts. Yeah. I'm not getting into it again.
So it's nice to see that, and he says, 1 and 2 are big for me. I did Gambit last night with a Gambit weapon. We won and didn't get the achievement. So, and for 2, they say they're always using the data, which means they have some kind of in-house tooling. Publicize that. Give it to us. So it's interesting from his new life perspective. A lot of the same problems that we're struggling with, especially with the bugs and the QA and just the lack of tools in the game.
Yeah. But you know that as soon as they gave us like the inventory manager on like our pause screen, it would break Telesto even worse. So
everything in your vault would turn into a Telesto.
Right.
Kinetic Telesto, special collect Telesto,
if you
heavy
pull
Telesto
from your vault from the start menu, you shoot 12 rounds instead of 6.
There is one constant in Destiny 2. Telesto will be broken and make everything else broken. That's just what's going to happen.
Glorious ways. Other weapons will like the perk will be jacked up, or it won't do as much damage as it's supposed to, or whatever. But Telesto always breaks in glorious ways. It's like, this gun does extra damage. Oh, if you shoot the ground, you get your super instantly. And that was the thing for all those that think I'm joking. That was the thing. But
Telesto breaks the game in ways that make everything better for everyone. That's just the rules. That's how it works.
Which is why it's disabled all the damn time.
There's a reason Bungie built the code to disable a certain weapon. Its name is Telesto.
Yeah, that's the only weapon that gets disabled, by the way. There's a line of code that has Telesto specifically. Okay.
But Deej has the Telesto switch. He just throws the Telesto switch. Sorry, Telestos, it's gone for everyone.
And that they built a function for disabling weapons, but the only object that is called by that function is the Telesto object. So, yeah,
always and forever.
Always and forever.
See, another week goes by, and we can still make a podcast of nothing. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But after you edit it, it'll still be 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've stopped telling my wife these will be short because I know they won't. The moment we start talking, it's like we're going to have 2 hours. I don't care if it's 8 pages of notes or 47 pages of notes.
It's 2 hours.
And this was 8 pages, but it was 2 pages of links and 6 pages of pictures, and yet here we are.
Yeah. And the wife's already come in here and yelled at me because I've woken up the baby. Because apparently while we've been on the podcast, the baby has fallen asleep, and I have woken him up, and I have got the stink eye or whatever.
One does not simply wake up the baby.
There's only a few more things for us to say. We
More?
hope that everybody has a happy new year, and thank you to all our listeners, new and old. And if you need to get in touch with us, you can.
For all those old listeners, you need to expose more people to us that came out wrong or did it. And for all you new light players, I only have one thing to ask from you, and that is spread us to all your friends, family, loved ones, and your worst enemies. Just get us out there. We need those numbers. Love us, like us, live us. Become minions of Respawn's army, because apparently that's a thing now and it's growing. So whatever.
Please don't feed it. Please stop communicating with him and telling him he's the best. Please. His head can't get any bigger. If he got any bigger, he wouldn't get in the podcast room, and we don't have a room. That's how big it's getting.
That's why the room is broken. The ceiling is busted out. The walls are gone.
Army is on the rise, everybody. I appreciate everything y'all do. Help us rise up against our Titan, subduers. And let's go.
I believe as the small video from the tweet I put in the Discord chat, you're not going to rise up against the Titans. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, but
which totally reminds me, there's
on our side. We can.
This is true. With enough numbers, even hunters can do anything.
That's right. Wait, what do you mean? Even
which also reminds me.
We need to address this. What?
One more link I forgot to include: Guardian.theater. So if you're playing along and you made a clip and you don't remember what the clip was, or if you're like, "Hey, that was a good game. Did anybody make a clip of anything?" Guardian.theater will show you if anybody in the games you played made a clip of anything public, or if anyone in that game happened to be streaming on anything. It would tell you what their stream is and what the dress is and everything.
What?
So it's just kind of fun to go back through if you've been playing a bunch of Crucible games or a bunch of Iron Banner games, just to see, hey, was anybody streaming any of those? Or if you see a name that you think is familiar, like, are you streaming? Are you a streamer? Because it'll also tell you if people have Mixer or Twitch accounts. So it just... It has no real game tactical value. It's just kind of fun to go back and look and see, if anybody made clips of you being on the really embarrassing end of getting stomped by someone, because sometimes that happens, and we've all been there. And sometimes you're on the bottom of the stomp, sometimes you're on the top of the stomp.
What's it called?
Guardian.theater. ER. THEATER.
No extra U's, okay?
So have a happy new year, and Perry, take us away.
So thank you, dear listener, for joining us.
Singular?
Yeah, dear listener. Hey, it's not that we have one listener, it's that we talk intimately, deeply. We gaze deeply into the eyes of each individual listener as they're coming to us.
I know you're trying to make that sound like a good thing, but it's just sounding creepier and creepier the more you talk.
That's the way it goes. Sometimes the podcast you listen to is creepy and wants to stare at you and watch you as you play Destiny to give you helpful tips like your British dad. Your Titans are parody a Night Demon. Your Hunter is no one responds in real life.
Woo, woo.
You should email the show and give us all the feedback at 2titansandahunter@hotmail.com. That's TWOTITANSANDAHUNTER@hotmail.com. You can find the show on Twitter at 2Titans, number 2 Titans _Hunter. You can find the show on Facebook or Instagram, 2 Titans and a Hunter. We've got a Frozen Clan. You can join it. You can find your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live or PC. You can watch the show on YouTube whenever I get around to putting it up. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold, because 19 loves you more. Please contribute to the GoFundMe for the EDZ Obelisk. Or just really spend 45 minutes, trying to get the EDZ Obelisk to talk to you. That's all you have to do. That's it. And then we're good. But as always, thank you all for listening to us. This has been another weird week of Destiny news and banter from your beloved Guardians at 2 Titans and a Hunter. We are 2 Titans. We are 1 Hunter. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Anyway, so that's that. I jumped the gun, so my bad. We can move on to what's actually in there, because we all know I don't read. So whatevs. Don't let me keep talking. Say something. Okay, I see how this is gonna be. You guys. Oh, you're such bad people.
This is way more fun. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, normally I'd agree. Stop killing the Blight. Leave the Blight alone. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. Leave the Blight alone. Stop killing the Blight. Go in the Blight. Get the buff. Shoot the big orb in the sky. Leave the Blight alone. Stop killing the Blight. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. Go in the Blight. Get the buff. Shoot the big orb in the sky. Leave the Blight alone. Stop killing the Blight. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. Go back in the Blight. Get the buff. Shoot the big orb in the sky. Leave the Blight alone. Go back in the Blight. Get the buff. Shoot the big orb in the sky. Leave the Blight alone. Stop killing the Blight. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. Go back in the Blight. Get the buff. Shoot the big orb in the sky. Leave the Blight alone. Stop killing the Blight. The Blight has done nothing to you. Go back in the Blight. Get the buff. Shoot the big orb in the sky. Leave the Blight alone. Stop killing the Blight. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you. The Blight has done nothing to you.